Send me across the street to the tavern to get a bucket of beer. They sold it by the bucket, and this is where Bishki lived. And this is where I found Bishki sitting on the corner with a big rag around his head like this. He had the mumps.
Oh, I remember you telling me that story.
Oh shit, they've torn it down. Yeah.
What was that there?
Right in here is where Grandma Andrews used to live. There was a big building. And Bishki's house was right here on the corner, and that was the tavern.
It's now, it's United in Love. Enter its side. 52nd and Henri?
Yeah.
That was where she first lived in...
That's where she first lived. And down there was a store and another big tavern down there. Big time tavern. I was a little kid. I want to show you the other place that she lived. You see this right here?
This is Damon, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's still there. Wait a minute. You see that liquor place? I used to come in through the alley with Papa when I had a job, when I finally got a job, and I'd bring him over here for a drink. Papa and I used to walk through the alley. Look, it's still there. Good God. I drove down here once with Grant. This used to be a grocery store right here. And at the end, there was a brewery. And
what street is this? 52nd?
This is 52nd. And this is where 2030. But yeah, this is where Grandma Andrews lived. In that back flat, not in the front, in the back.
They wrote with magic marker on their house, I think.
Jesus Christ. I used to walk through that alley to, yeah, it's still there. Look, the brewery.
Let's see what brewery it is.
I don't know if it's still a brewery. We used to come up here to the railroad tracks to pick coal, because coal would come off of the trains then. They were all steam engines. And when we picked them up, when we go up there, they would have coal that would have spit out all over the sides. And we'd pick up the coal for the stove, because we had a coal stove.
It says Siamese Connection.
I don't know what the hell that means.
Oh.
But that's where we used to pick coal, right up there. And every Saturday morning, they used to clean the vats. And there was a stink that comes out of that. And I have been in the middle of Europe on a Saturday when they cleaned the vats. And once I smelt that, my mind came right back to this very spot. Because that's a smell that you just cannot ever forget.
It's bad? Worse than Lever Brothers?
No, it's just it's a sour smell from the mash that they used for making beer. Yeah, I remember all of these places and all of these people. That's right there where Grandma lived, and next door is where the girl lived. I don't remember her name now, and they ripped that down. But right there is where she lived. 2035 West 52nd. Christ, how do I remember that?
So that's 52nd and Damon.
That was where Grandma lived when Papa died and when she died. And I'll show you the funeral home where we buried her.
Oh, are they buried here?
Yeah, that used to be a medical clinic. That was a...
that was a stop.
See that? 8050.
And
Patsy Costello lived over there.
So
8050 Stewart Avenue.
And this is where you lived with who?
When I got out of the Army, Grandma and Joanne and I lived there, and then your mother was born when we lived in that house. This is where Patsy Costello used to live.
And who's that, Patsy Costello?
That's just a friend of ours, one of the guys. Harvard Avenue. That's where we lived, downstairs.
Who lived
Tommy
there?
We did.
Who's we?
When Eddie was born.
Oh, okay. You lived with Gigi and Grandpa?
Yep. When Eddie was born, we lived there. Oh, no, wait a minute.
8030. It's right there on the post. Do you see it?
No, we lived at 8026.
Okay.
No, we lived at 8026. And Tommy Taylor lived at 8030. And his aunt, Mrs. McGaw, lived upstairs.
And you lived downstairs there?
We lived downstairs here. I don't remember who lived upstairs of us at that time, but downstairs is a big coal furnace that heated the apartments, and my father used to take care of that. And I was down there with him one morning real early in January because it was freezing cold. He got up early and I got up, and I said to him, asked him where my mother was, and he says, "You have a new brother," when he was pulling clinkers out of the furnace.
And you didn't know she was having a baby, or you knew?
Oh, yeah, I
she
knew.
didn't know she went to the hospital.
I was the one that wanted a baby brother. Margie lived here. Margie, I don't remember her name now.
Let's go look at that sign up here.
Margie.
Let's see what it says here.
No playing on the grass.
Yeah, no ball playing,
Shit.
no loud music, no car washing, no littering. That's how they take care of their neighborhood
This
now.
house belonged to a very wealthy older woman, and her backyard used to be just, I mean, it was gorgeous.
For that, because they put the barbecue in a barrel.
They make a barbecue out of an old copper barrel.
Son of a bitch. And this was all prairie.
All prairie, except for that one house there.
And that was your house there.